Good afternoon, UK Colts fans. This is the instant reaction to the Colts 26-23 overtime win versus the Jacksonville Jaguars and superstar quarterback Mac Jones. Obviously very satire, but the season's finally come to an end properly. God, it dragged on. That was the worst way. That was the worst possible outcome for yesterday. An overtime win when a loss would have done us better. I would have even taken a regular time win just as a bit of a feel-good factor, but an overtime win just dragged it out for the poor fans there. God knows how they felt. I felt tired watching that at home, and they obviously travelled in the horrendous weather. But fair play to the fans who did. They went down and they made their voices heard. You'll be proud to know that the boos came through loud and clear, and I believe it was Fox covering for NFL Game Pass this time picked it up. And I think what was important is the commentator, forgive me, I've forgotten his name, but the commentator said, this isn't just today's game, this is seasons and years of just the same old for the Colts and the quarterback situation, and actually explained it really well for a national presenter who, you know, their national guys they're not a job to go in to deep dive every team, so I thought it was good of them to pick that up. Right, the positives. Alec Pierce, Alec Pierce is probably the only thing I can say is the only guy who's worth any excitement really. And I say that with all due respect to Jonathan Taylor, Q, DeForest and Grover. You know, they're our guys. They did well, but it's the Jaguars. We should be in the 4 and whatever Jaguars. I guess in 4-14 now, or 4-13. Yeah. So the negatives. Well, the positives, I'm guessing, from what I've read so far, I haven't had a chance to read all the postseason stuff, but it looks like Gus Bradley is finally gone. Thank goodness. How that man kept his job so long is beyond me. It looks like we're not going to see a change in the GM position or the head coaching position, which begs to differ. Is this one last throw of the dice for all three? And I include the quarterback Anthony Richardson in that. It's just, if it is, it's just why do we keep doing this? Like I said, I want Anthony Richardson to work out. I think he can work out, but if the guy at 22 years old is having back problems so bad he has to crawl around his house, then maybe it's time for him to think about his actual health rather than playing football. I know that'd be horrible. This is what he's trained all his life to do, and for it to be taken away is pretty cruel like that. But you've got to be real with yourself. If you're having really bad back spasms at this age, you know, where you have to crawl around your house, is this really the right thing for you? And like I say, I want Anthony Richardson to work out for the Colts. I love him. I think he's a great quarterback, and I think the potential there for him is Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen levels. Other negatives, Zaire Franklin and EJ Speed, as far as we know, are still on the team. And the longer this goes on, the more and more I am siding with Pat McAfee. And not necessarily siding, because this isn't a side thing, but this is just like a respect, a culture, however you want to dress it up. When this all started, I was sort of on the side of Zaire Franklin, like, you know, Pat's meant to be the guy who goes to bat for the team, but then he did the thing with the podcast, which I completely disagreed with, and I was like, okay, well, you put Pat's face on there and called out the one guy who has gone to bat for this team, and you know, Pat was just being a fan, and the fans are entitled to their opinion. And the longer it's gone on, the more that's come out, it's just like, get Franklin and EJ Speed out of here. a mid-season podcast where you say you want to play the Giants and then give up 45 points. I don't know how that keeps you a job. I would certainly be looking at getting them gone if I was in charge, but I'm not. And like I say, I don't think we're going to see Pat there. As long as Franklin's there, I don't think we'll see Pat ever in the stadium, and Jim Irsay cannot be happy with that, because Pat's a long-time friend of Irsay. People forget that, but he's a long-time friend of the franchise. And he's been, I know we didn't win the Super Bowl, but he's been there. He's won championship games, he's won divisional games, he's won divisional titles. He's won. So, and then the stuff about the ghost handshake, and just like, really? Zaire, just read the room, man. Like, you're not on the right side of this. It would have been easier if he'd just come up and said, listen, yeah, we made a mistake, let's sort this, but they haven't, and it's just going to drag out over the off-season. I don't understand why we played Joe Flacco yesterday. Pointless, he's not going to be here next year. It would have been a nice chance to see if we've got something with Sammy Ellinger. It would have been nice to see if we got something for him, because what's the point of him being here if he doesn't play in these meaningless games and get his chance? At this point, you might as well just put him on the practice squad and go into the season with 2 QBs. I really don't understand the point of that third QB role at the minute. And like I say, Colts fans want a change. And I understand when, I've spoken to other teams who teams are 2 and 15, 3 and 40, 2 and 16, 3 and 15, etc. If I got my maths right, I'm tired. But they're not happy with where their teams are, but they think their teams have got a direction, and they've got a high draft pick. They're happy with their draft pick. And again, the Colts are picking at 15? And we're probably going to take a linebacker, really. It'll be a tight end, I'd imagine, if a tight end's available. But we know Chris, he doesn't like being aggressive. He has no risk system in his head. He's always played it safe and conservative. And we're seeing it's not a benefit, but we're seeing the crops of a no-risk strategy, which is just no reward. And he's going to come out with the same BS he did last year. He might as well just copy and paste his interview, because it's all well and good saying Gus Bradley was the problem, but this is an offense that couldn't fire. It just really couldn't fire when it came down to it. So, like I say, good year for Jonathan Taylor, happy for him. A good year for Q, and a good year for Alec, and also a good year for Josh Downs. That's a bit about it on the offense. A good year for Jalen Jones, an up and down year, but expected, A good year for Latu, despite his limited snaps, again, and Gus Bradley having him drop back in coverage. He's a pass rusher, and on passing plays you got him dropping in coverage. It's just baffled me that. Special teams, horrendously bad. Apart from Rigoberto horrendously bad's a bit harsh, but I suppose we should split the special teams down. Matt Gay, see you later. What a waste of money. If you can't hit over 50 inside, then I don't understand how you're an NFL professional kicker. It seems to have gone downhill since his injury earlier in the season, and the Colts have just not reacted to that. Shane Steichen and Chris Ballard have given him the rope, and he's not paid them back. So I think, although he's not been good, really. He's been below good to good, never above. So maybe we need to address the kicker position. Rigoberto has had a hell of a year, I suppose. He's had a long year, but he's done okay. Maybe won a couple or two. You go, can we get more? Is there more there? I wouldn't say he has the biggest leg as a punter, but he does his job. But again, special teams below par for most of the season, but that's the franchise as a whole below par. So, God no, for me, we need a big defensive rebuild, and whichever defensive coordinator is coming in has a big job ahead. The need for the offense, tight end, potentially. I don't want another backup quarterback, and this goes to Shane and probably why. And like I say, why are we not playing Sammy Erlinger? Or Ellinger, sorry, as the Americans say it. Because at least we would have known what we've got next year. And if we go out and get a Kirk Cousins or a Aaron Rodgers or insert name of other mediocre backup quarterback, it's a bit harsh on Aaron for his career, but you get what I'm saying. Washed up over the hill quarterback, then I think I'm about done. And yeah, so obviously not a positive end to the season. Is there much to look forward to? I don't know. I don't know if Chris and, like I say, Chris and Shane and obviously Jim are all still there. I think really Jim, for his own health, needs to look at stepping back and letting Carly Gordon take over. Whether he'll do that or not, we'll see. I don't think he will, but at this point, the guy really needs to think about his health. And like I say, we've Colts fans, we're so used to seeing so much of Jim Irsay, and he's been vocal, he's been ruthless. When this is the guy who, got rid of Peyton for Andrew, which is understandable. But then this is the guy who also had to deal with Andrew's retirement. He's not afraid to be heard, to make ruthless calls, to make business decisions. But we've just seen nothing of him, so we can't tell what's going on. I think that's what annoys Colts fans the most, is who's in charge, what's going on, who's taking the lead, who's making the calls. Just nobody knows. And I think that's about it, guys. Like I say, yesterday was pointless. Yesterday were pointless. That's about as much as I can say. But is a win better than a loss? Probably not, because we've damaged our draft pick. So, yeah, look forward to lots of fun content this off-season. No, I'm joking. We're going to try and bring lots of off-season content to you guys who have supported us through these tricky times, because it is hard watching your team when they are just... When your team's bad, you can accept that, but when it's directionless, that's when it hurts, because you just go around in circles. But hopefully things get brighter. We'll see. Time to have a rest, enjoy the playoffs as a neutral, and maybe you guys can tell me who you're rooting for. I'd really like the Bills to do it. I'd like Josh Allen, but we'll see. Yeah, so thanks all for watching and sticking with us this year. There will be a show this Thursday, and we're going to try and do more blogs, reactions, guests. We're just going to try and do more for you guys, because, like I say, over 130 subscribers now. You guys are the ones who make this happen, not us. If you're not subscribed, subscribe. Do the little notification bell. And we're going to be bringing out a Patreon. It's not going to be paid, so don't worry about paying subscription. It's just, it can be better for content and easier accessible Patreon. So check us out again. It's not behind a paywall, so you're not going to have to pay anything. It's not like, it's £5 a month or anything like that. So just check us out on there, because really good writing going on in there from Nathan, and some stuff from Elliot, and just from me and Robbie. Thank you all for watching the UK Colts fans this year. Look forward to our off-season content, and look forward to a new defensive coordinator. Bye-bye.